Most of us were told that losing our balance or feeling unsteady as the years go by is just an unavoidable part of turning 60. We are taught to accept that our steps will get shorter and our legs will feel heavier, as if it is a debt we all have to pay to time. But what if I told you that this physical decline isn't just about your age? What if it is actually caused by a specific part of your circulatory and muscular system that has simply gone into a deep sleep? Think about that for a moment. It is a radical thought because it means that much of what we call aging is actually something we can influence. Researchers at major universities and experts in the field of applied physiology have spent decades looking into why seniors' leg muscles are getting weaker every week, and is it possible to fix with home exercise? Some people stay mobile well into their 90s, while others start to struggle in their 60s. They have found that the secret often lies in a very specific biological pump located in your lower body. Recent studies published in respected medical journals suggest that by waking up this specific system, we can actually restore the stability and strength many people thought was gone for good. This isn't about running marathons or lifting heavy weights in a crowded gym. It is about understanding how your body was designed to move and giving it the right signals to stay strong. I know exactly how it feels when those first signs of change start to creep in. Maybe you have noticed that you now instinctively reach for the armrest of a chair before you try to stand. Or perhaps you feel a slight wobble in your ankles when you step off a curb or walk on a patch of uneven grass. You might find yourself avoiding certain stairs or feeling a bit of apprehension when you have to walk across a large parking lot. It's a quiet, heavy feeling in the back of your mind. It's the feeling of your world getting just a little bit smaller because you don't trust your foundation as much as you used to. It can feel like your body is starting to move away from the person you still feel like on the inside. But here's the good news, and I want you to really hear this. There is a very clear and simple path back to feeling solid on your feet again. You do not need expensive equipment, and you do not need to spend hours sweating in a fitness center. In fact, the most effective way to address this is through two very specific movements that you can do right in your own kitchen while you are waiting for your morning coffee to brew. Stay with me here, because I am going to explain exactly why your legs have been feeling this way and how you can flip the switch back to on starting today. Let me explain what is actually happening beneath the surface. Before that, I'm looking forward to hear from which city are you watching from. It's always so inspiring to see how far our community of health-conscious seniors reaches. Let me know in the comments. You see, our muscles aren't just there to move our bones. They actually act as a vital partner to our heart. Now, listen to this, because most people completely miss this part. Your heart is an incredible organ, but it has a very difficult job. It has to pump blood all the way down to your toes, and then that blood has to find a way to travel all the way back up against the constant pull of gravity. Think about how much effort that takes. If the blood pools in your lower legs, you end up with swelling, fatigue, and a feeling of heaviness that makes every step feel like a chore. This is where your lower leg muscles come in. Scientists often refer to these muscles as your secondary heart. When they are strong and active, they contract and squeeze the veins in your legs, acting like a manual pump that pushes blood back up toward your chest. But as we get older, if we aren't careful, these muscles start to thin out. This isn't your fault. It's a natural biological process where the body decides it doesn't need to maintain muscle that it's not being challenged. When that pump weakens, your circulation slows down, your energy levels drop, and your balance begins to flicker. Here's where it gets interesting. Most people think they need to do intense cardio to fix their circulation, but research suggests that specific, targeted resistance is actually the key. When you challenge these muscles, even gently, you're sending a loud and clear signal to your nervous system. You're telling your body that you still need this muscle, and your body, in its
its infinite wisdom, responds by reinforcing those fibers. It starts to rebuild the very foundation that keeps you upright and moving.
Now, I want to talk about the first of the two movements I mentioned earlier. This one specifically targets that secondary heart pump I was telling you about. I want you to imagine you are standing at your kitchen counter, perhaps holding a cup of tea or just resting your hands lightly on the surface for balance. This movement is so simple that many people overlook it, but the impact on your circulation and ankle stability is profound. You are simply going to lift your heels off the floor, rising up onto the balls of your feet, and then slowly lowering back down. It sounds almost too easy, doesn't it? But here is the secret that most people miss. It isn't just about the lift, it's about the control. When you rise up, you're engaging those deep muscles that protect your veins and support your gait. When you lower down slowly, you're training your brain to control your weight, which is exactly what keeps you from tripping when you're out for a walk. Think about it this way. Every time you perform this movement, you're prime loading your internal pump. You're ensuring that oxygen-rich blood is moving efficiently through your system. I've heard from so many people who started doing this for just a few minutes a day and noticed that the nagging heaviness in their legs began to lift within just a week or two. They felt lighter, more agile, and less fatigued by the end of the day. Now, you might be thinking, surely it takes more than that to see real change. Well, this next part surprised researchers. In a study involving older adults, those who practiced consistent lower body movements didn't just feel better, they actually saw measurable changes in their muscle density and their walking speed. This matters more than most people realize, because walking speed is one of the greatest indicators of long-term independence. When you can move confidently, you're more likely to stay active, social, and engaged with the world around you. Let me explain the second movement now, because this is the one that addresses the most common fear I hear from people over 60. That fear is the loss of the ability to get up and go. Whether it's getting out of a low car, rising from a soft sofa, or even just using the stairs, this depends on the large power muscles in your upper legs. If you've ever felt like you have to rock back and forth to get enough momentum to stand up, or if you find yourself plopping down into a chair because your legs give out in those last few inches, this is for you. This movement is essentially a seated to standing transition. Imagine you're sitting on a sturdy chair, like a dining room chair. Your feet are flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Instead of using your arms to push off, you're going to focus on using the strength in your thighs and glutes to power yourself upward. You might need to start by just doing the movement halfway, or perhaps using a slightly higher chair to make it easier. The goal isn't to be fast, it's to be steady. If this is helping you, I'd love for you to subscribe. I share research-backed health insights every week specifically for people over 60 who are determined to stay independent and strong. My goal is to give you the tools you need to feel confident in your body again, without the fluff or the risky shortcuts. Now, let's get back to that movement. When you stand up using only your leg power, you're engaging the largest muscle groups in your body. This does more than just make it easier to get out of a chair. It actually changes your metabolic health. These large muscles are like a furnace. When they're active, they help manage your blood sugar and improve your overall cardiovascular health. It's a total body benefit hidden in a very simple daily action. I know what you're thinking. You might be worried that your knees aren't strong enough or that you might lose your balance. That's a very valid concern, and it's why I always recommend using a support. Whether it's a sturdy table, a countertop, or even a heavy piece of furniture, having that safety net allows your nervous system to relax. When you feel safe, your muscles can actually work more effectively. You're not fighting against the fear of falling, so you can focus entirely on the quality of the movement. Here's a little secret that most fitness experts don't talk about when it comes to seniors. You don't need to do these exercises for an hour. In fact, doing them in small, bite-sized pieces throughout the day is often more effective. This is what researchers call grease the groove. By doing a few repetitions every time you go into the kitchen or every time a commercial comes on the television, you're constantly reminding your body to stay strong. You're building a habit that becomes as natural as brushing your teeth. Think about a man named Robert. Robert was 68,
weight and had started to feel like he was losing his edge. He found himself staying home more often because he was worried about navigating the stairs at his favorite local restaurant. He felt like his world was shrinking. He didn't want to go to a gym, but he committed to doing these 2 simple movements every morning while his coffee was brewing. He didn't do anything drastic, he just did his heel lifts and his chair stands.
After about 3 weeks, Robert noticed something. He was standing at the sink and realized his legs didn't feel like lead. A few weeks after that, he went to that restaurant with his family. When it came time to leave, he stood up from the table in one smooth motion, without having to brace himself or grab the edge of the table. That moment of realization, that feeling of, "Oh, I can do this," is worth more than any gym membership. It is the feeling of getting your freedom back. Now, which part of Robert's story felt most relevant to you? Do you struggle more with that feeling of heaviness, or is it more about the difficulty of standing up and staying balanced? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and hearing your experiences helps me create better content that actually addresses the things you are dealing with every day. Let's dive a little deeper into the science of why this works, because understanding the why can often be the best motivation. There is a term in medicine called sarcopenia. It sounds intimidating, but it simply means the natural loss of muscle mass as we age. For a long time, doctors thought this was just like gray hair, something that happens to everyone and can't be stopped. But we now know that is not the case. Muscle is a use it or lose it tissue. When you perform the 2 movements we have been talking about, you are triggering something called protein synthesis. This is the process your body uses to repair and build muscle fibers. Even more importantly, you are improving the communication between your brain and your muscles. This is called neuromuscular efficiency. Often, the reason we feel weak isn't because the muscle is gone, but because the brain has forgotten how to talk to it effectively. By doing these movements slowly and with intention, you are rebuilding those communication lines. It's like clearing the static off a radio station so the signal can come through loud and clear. I want to remind you to be patient with yourself. This is a journey, not a race. You might find that on the first day, you can only do 5 repetitions before your legs feel tired. That is perfectly okay. In fact, it is exactly where you should be. The goal is progress, not perfection. Research suggests that for seniors, the greatest gains come from consistency over time rather than intensity in the moment. If you do just a little bit every day, those small efforts compound. Before you know it, you're looking back at where you started and realizing how far you have come. As you continue with these movements, you might notice other changes too. Many people report that their nighttime leg cramps start to diminish. This makes sense when you think about the circulation we talked about earlier. By improving the blood flow and moving the lymphatic fluid in your legs, you are helping your body clear out the metabolic waste that can lead to those painful spasms in the middle of the night. Better movement during the day often leads to better rest at night. Now, let's talk about a very important aspect of this: safety. I can't stress this enough. If you feel any sharp pain, you should stop. We are looking for a gentle challenge, a feeling of work in the muscles, but never pain in the joints. If your knees feel tender during the chair stands, try not going down as far. If your ankles feel stiff during the heel lifts, start with very small movements. You are the world's leading expert on your own body. Listen to what it is telling you. It's also a good idea to talk to your healthcare provider before starting any new routine, especially if you have existing conditions like severe arthritis or balance disorders. They can often give you specific pointers on how to adapt these movements to your unique needs. Remember, the goal is to support your health and keep you safe. Stay with me here because I want to give you a specific plan
you can start today. We have talked about the theory and the movements, but how do you actually put it into practice? I recommend the 10-10-10 rule. Try doing 10 heel lifts and 10 chair stands 3 times a day. That's only 60 total movements spread out over 24 hours. It takes less than 5 minutes of actual effort, but the cumulative effect on your strength and stability is massive.
Think about how you will feel 3 months from now. Imagine walking through the grocery store without needing to lean on the cart for support. Imagine playing with your grandkids on the floor and knowing you can get back up easily. Imagine the confidence of knowing that your body is strong enough to handle whatever the day throws at you. That is the promise of taking these small steps now. The journey of 1,000 miles really does begin with a single step, or in this case, a single heel lift. You have the power to influence how you age. You are not a passive observer of your own decline. You are the pilot, and these movements are the tools that help you stay on course. It is never too late to start. Whether you are 60, 70, or 85, your body is still capable of adapting and getting stronger. It is waiting for you to give it the signal. I want to thank you for spending this time with me today. It shows that you are committed to your health and your independence, and that is the most important first step. You have already done the hard part by deciding to learn more and take action. Now, all that's left is to put one foot in front of the other, literally and figuratively. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Your independence is your most valuable asset. It is what allows you to live life on your own terms, to visit the places you love, and to be present for the people who matter most. By investing just a few minutes a day into your leg strength and your secondary heart, you are protecting that independence. You are making a deposit into your future self. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend who might be feeling those same wobbles or heaviness. Sometimes just knowing that there's a simple explanation and a doable solution can change someone's entire outlook on aging. We are all in this together, and supporting each other is how we all stay strong. I am so proud of the work you're doing today. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep moving, keep breathing, and keep believing in your body's ability to heal and grow. You've got this, and I'll be here every week to help you along the way. Before you go, make sure to check out the next video appearing on your screen. Click that video now to make sure you are protecting all the hard work you are doing today. I'll see you over there, and watch our next video about do these 3 home exercises daily to stay strong and move pain-free.